how should they have handled that situation? What is it that they should have said different than what they said? What they should have said in response to that denigrating and depraved statement is this. I know that some of you are looking at the thumbnail and going, oh, Servant, man, you were doing so well, not hitting those controversial topics. The channel was growing, man. Why are you doing this to yourself? Well, I have to. You guys should know me by now. I have to touch on those things that affect the tabletop RPG community. Remember, if you come to this channel, what is it that you get? You get tools, tips, tutorials, and what's that last one? Real talk about the tabletop RPG community and culture. We have to talk about this. This directly affects the tabletop RPG community and has for years now. So we've got to hit on this. I know a lot of you might think that I'm doing this video because, you know, get some clickbait or whatever. I'm telling you right now, I've had this particular idea for a video for months. My One Ring campaign guys, I already told them. I told them months ago. I told them in the middle of summer. And it was before summer started that I came up with the idea. So I already knew that this was coming down the pipe. I just had to put it on the schedule. So it's not that I'm just trying to rustle up some stuff. It's that this is what we have to deal with. It is filtered down to the subculture of the tabletop RPG community, and you have to know how to deal with it and the people who espouse this nonsense into our hobby. If this is your first time coming to the channel, strap in. It might be a little bumpy here. You may find that, I'm not down with this dude. But give me a little bit of grace here, at least for the first part. We're going to talk about something we don't hear a lot of people talking about, not with any kind of concerted focus, right? We sweep it under the table. We might say something in passing. There might be people who rant about it, but nothing really said with a view to really, number one, looking at it for what it is, and number two, giving a solution to it. And that is the goal of this video. The goal of this video is to do just that. Again, if this is your first time coming to the channel, then let me at least introduce myself. My name is Servant of Shiloh. This place is RPG Elite. It's a place where I focus on putting the RP back in the RPG. And all of this goes and ties to that specifically. So today, I'm gonna jump right into this, right off the cuff, y'all. And if you have any questions or things like that that you want to address after this whole video, go down, give them to me in the comments below or send them to me in my email and I'll get to them as soon as I possibly can. You know, I'm trying to do content on the channel all of the time. So let's get into this right now. First, I need to set this up. So again, give me a little bit of grace here. I need to set this up. So let's do this first part. Well, first. So it was 4 years ago. It's before I actually had this channel. I'm pretty sure it was. And I was looking around on YouTube, and so I was looking around for virtual tabletops. And I stumbled across a couple of videos. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And so I looked at these videos, and this company that these individuals are talking about is a company that I never even considered to actually use their product. I just didn't consider it. They weren't even in the running. I mean, as far as virtual tabletops is concerned, I went from Map Tools to Skirmish to Astral, and then now I'm with Foundry. I know a lot about virtual tabletops, and I know about Alchemy, I know about Arkenforge, I know about all of them. I keep up with all of those things, but this one wasn't even in the running. Nowhere. But what was happening was very interesting to me. because it had something to do with the culture once again and how it had infected the tabletop RPG culture. So instead of me talking about it, I'm gonna let you see it. So I'm gonna play these clips back to back so that you guys get a full Monty on what was going on back then. And I'll come back and I'll explain some other things that you might be perplexed about. Let's go ahead and let's roll the clips.
Jim Davis and I scheduled a meeting on May 22nd of 2017 with Nolan T. Jones of Roll20 to discuss Saber Dice because I had access to him. When I reached out to Nolan, we sat in our meeting and we had a Zoom conference call, maybe Skype, whatever. That's not important. And we talked. We gave him the pitch. Hey, man, look, here's what we want to do. I'm a big brand advocate for you guys. We have Dawn Forge and WebDM and Nerdarchy and Taking 20 and all of these really big content creators who already have built-in audiences. Let us, we want a virtual tabletop to sponsor the show. And I'm a big brand advocate for you guys. Do you want to be a part of it? And we gave him the pitch. And then I want to be very factual here. This is not an opinion. This is fact. I do not have a recording of this. I do, however, have a witness to this in Jim Davis of WebDM because he was in this meeting. And so both he and I listened to Nolan T. Jones look at us on camera face to face. And he said he did not want to do business with us because we were 5 white men. That is simply a statement of fact and cannot be construed as libel. After which Nolan proceeded to go on in this meeting, and he also told us, this is factual, that Roll20 was big enough and he didn't need us, and that Roll20 was the number one virtual tabletop in the market, and they were going to make lots of money without us.
It was an interaction prior to season 1 of Saber Dice, a collaborative effort between different YouTubers to play a game together. And we had reached out to various sponsors, people that we wanted to be involved. We wanted to use their products and show them off to our audiences. So we reached out for a digital platform to Roll20. And I will not forget this. The response that we got, 5 of the biggest YouTube channels related to tabletop gaming. Just point that out there. 5 very different individuals, each of us offering different aspects of the game, different types of playing, different play styles, different perspectives. The response we got was, we don't need another 5 white guys.
Now, some of you might have known of this. I mean, you probably were watching the videos and you were part of the whole situation, so you knew what the 411 was. And you might be wondering, okay, that was years ago, why are you bringing it back up? And that's a good question. And the answer to that is because it's still here. That kind of abhorrent, depraved attitude is still here. And it has infected the tabletop RPG community. Plus, I haven't seen anything. I mean, I looked, maybe I missed it, but I haven't seen anything where that comment was rescinded. So it was around the same time that there was this big brouhaha going on over on Reddit. That's not related to this specifically because over there, some people got basically fired. Things got moved around. There were some apologies made, and that was it. But in this specific instance, and I looked for it, I never have discovered this comment being rescinded. When I'm talking about the comment being rescinded, I'm not talking about saying I'm sorry. Who cares about you being sorry? Sorry is telling me about your emotional state. I don't care about your emotional state. If you have transgressed against someone, my household, we don't use the term I'm sorry unless we're talking to somebody who has a loss in their family or something tragic has happened. But we don't use I'm sorry for when we have done something to somebody else that is wrong. We do not use that in my household. So if somebody's saying I'm sorry, doesn't matter, and I don't care, because when people say I'm sorry, I usually say, and? No, what we say in our household and what people should actually say is, please forgive me. See the difference there? And there's a difference in your mind too that happens. The difference is that you're telling me about your emotional state here, saying I'm sorry, but over here you're actually taking responsibility for your transgression, because only people who have transgressed need to be forgiven. But I've never heard anybody even say I'm sorry just to kind of reach out in this instance. Neither have I heard anyone say, please forgive me, and that's one that they probably wouldn't use anyway because of how the phrase etymologically has been accepted widespread, and it shouldn't have been, and so I don't. Now, you can do whatever you want to do, but if you're dealing with me, I'm not going to accept I'm sorry. So here's the situation. How should they have handled that situation? What is it that they should have said different than what they said? Well, I'm going to tell you. And it's going to surprise some people, of course, because it's out of the ordinary. But in this case, we don't need to be ordinary. We need to be right. What they should have said in response to that denigrating and depraved statement is this. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're talking about because there's no such thing as white men and I'm not one of them. See, now I got some of you guys right now thinking, what is he talking about? And the reason why you have thought this way is because you've been programmed. I'll get to that in a second. I have done 2 entire videos debunking the whole white race, black race thing. No such thing in how it constantly gets presented to a culture. There's no such thing. And yet, here in the United States, this thing just keeps getting repeated. What you need to do is go over, and I'll have a link for those videos down in the description below, because I'm not going to go over all over again the very same things I went over in those videos. So go and look at those when you get done looking at this one. But what you've done when you say that to them, or if they would have said that to this individual, they have totally pulled out from underneath them their whole premise. The whole premise of their statement has been now absolutely destroyed. And they either have to backpedal and explain why it is the case, or they need to double down and say, no, that it is, and keep, virtue signaling, which is normally what they do. Or they're just going to pull back and be like, what in the world are you talking about? And that is where you can use it as an education moment, which is, again, why I want you to go and watch the other 2 videos, because there's been research that's been put into that. That whole idea has been debunked for almost 3/4 of a century. And yet we continue to press that out as something that's a reality when it's not. If there's anything that's a social construct, it is that. That is a social construct. The rest of the stuff that they say is a social construct is not. But this right here is. Let me tell you why. What's the best way to get a people to be divided and to always have a schism? Well, one way that you could do it is by labeling people with elements of things that are on the total opposite side of the spectrum, and to keep doing it over and over and over again until it becomes inculcated into the culture. Forgot who it was that said it. I want to say it was Hitler, who said, keep repeating the same lie over and over, people start to believe it as the truth. And this is one of those things. What do? How do they program you to keep that schism going? Well, they label you white, right? And okay, what's the total opposite side of the spectrum on that? It is black. And so what you do is you keep pushing forth that narrative, even though it's not true. It's not true at all. Again, I've already covered this in my 2 videos. But look at this right here. That's not black. I don't care what you say. That's milk chocolate, baby. That is not black. And you've got people labeling each other like that all across the spectrum. It's false. It's wrong. It's error. And yet people keep doing that all the time and then keep believing that stuff. But it's not true. It's the lie of a social construct that wants to constantly pit people against one another. And guess what? It's worked. And so for a person to make a self-loathing statement like that, because that person was a, quote, white man, and I use that word man very lightly, he fell right into what he's been programmed to fall into. This is what it is. It's the reality in which we live, and we have to deal with it. I am going to, in the next video, give my Caucasian tabletop RPG brothers, so to speak, some encouragement and some exhortation. Because some of y'all have believed this lie. Now, those of you who haven't believed the lie, hey, kudos to y'all, keep it up. But some of you have. You are drinking that Kool-Aid. You know, they're playing a Jedi mind trick on y'all and gaslighting you to death. Okay, so in the next video, which won't be next week, it'll be next month, but I want to talk about this very thing and give you some encouragement and some exhortation, because y'all need it. And I'm giving it to you from this side of the table, you know, being a brother, a little bit milk chocolate, and from what really is going on, yeah, I'll go ahead and tell you from that perspective. And really, it's not actually from that perspective, from a human perspective. But I'll wait until next time to get you on that. If you got any value out of this video at all, then what you can do is do a brother a solid and crush the like button right now. Right now, do it right now. And also, if you want to stick around, and I haven't offended you that much, if you've stuck around this much and not running for the hills, then kudos to you. And if you want to stick around even more, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. I'll come out with videos, God willing, every Tuesday and Friday. And we're going to keep it coming as long as I'm able to do this. Let me give you a question of the vid, though. Question of the vid. What do you think about the statement that I made? What do you think about that statement that there's no such thing as white men? Now, with no idea of what I'm talking about and no frame of reference from the other videos that I've done, why do you think I would say something like that? Go ahead, let me know down in the comments below. Then you can come and watch the videos, and then you can comment again if you got it wrong, because you probably did. All right, y'all. That is going to be it for me. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to watch the flame come in the comments, and I'm going to watch my subscriber count go down.
So exit, stage left.
So until next time, y'all, if you got a game this week, happy gaming. I pray you have an RPG Elite session for those of you who decide to stick around. I will catch you on the flip. So peace, 5,000 elites. I am outie.